Now, obviously, I am attending the opening ceremony remotely. The ceremony is taking place in Germany, in oh, Wormg, in Hamwormg. But don't worry, we've got a man down in the field. We've got a man down in the field. So don't you worry about that. We can go to them live, and they can tell us what to expect.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much, Ratslayer.
It's brilliant. It's really, really good.
Very, very kind of you. Now, it's worth saying that when we are going live to our man in the field, we won't have any sound alerts. Hello, Tambo. Welcome on in. Hello, Seb. Won't be any sound alerts or anything like that. So if you're tempted, I wouldn't do it. But let's see. Let's go to hello, Emily. Okay. Shall we begin? Let's go down to our man in the field. Me, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Me? Yes, thank you, Me. The atmosphere here is electric. The party's already gotten started. We've already seen the first 16 teams come out and take part in the procession. We've seen the likes of the gastronauts firing pizza off into the crowd. Let's not get into what happened with the certified smashers. Let's just say it's good we didn't broadcast that. Yes, so I'm gonna let you now see the next 16 teams as they march out into the arena.
Murder most foul.
There we have it. There was the worms. And here comes troubling developments. There they are, waving their flag proud, as they should. Will there be any troubling developments? Charter City, who we'll see in action tonight. Their worms standing strong. The Rusty Ringers. A Kirby Worm. Will they be throwing some curveballs within? The Chat Noir. I think a fan favourite, the Chat Noir. Dark times ahead for the Chat Noir. Let's find out. Da 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 da. Bam banana. Bam bam banana. There goes Fuck the Theories. And up next, an original pirate material, flying their pirate flag high. Little showboating from an original pirate material there. My God. So they brought their special transparent flag for this. They brought their special transparent flag, which is purely for these sorts of grand opening ceremonies. Out with the dads, who we're going to see tonight, facing off against Charter City. There's the Force. The worms in blue. The worms in blue. All worms aren't bastards, I'll have you know. Here they are. Emily can't believe that her logo is a shit, but everyone else can. Here they are, the mercenaries of death, the MOD, the mods, bringing their hammers of justice down on all the worms they may find. GST, we will see in our opening game. Represented in chat by Tambo today. Also with their special transparent flag. Here's the AMS, Extreme Mercenary Services. Ill communication.
Where are you?
Ill communication.
Let's be having
Flying their
you.
flag high. And Yuku's team,
Come on!
Power Couples, showing you the pride they have within their flag. A beautiful procession. I'm sure we can all believe. A powerful procession. Worms, the worms were right at the beginning. We only saw half the teams, you know, because of our broadcast didn't start in time to see the other ones that also just happen to be the ones who haven't submitted any kind of logo at all. An auspicious occasion. We have a special guest. A huge celebrity who hails from Wormany. You may have seen some of this director, auteur. Hello, Auntie Zara. Welcome on in. Artiste. He has a very specific sort of worldview. Please, we're going to go down to our presenter. We're going to go down to our presenter, who's down on the field, me. And he's going to introduce us to tell us if they are ready for us to hear from Werner Herzog. The crowd can't believe it. Werner Herzog himself is about to give his keynote speech. A true artist, and I'm sure he will have some inspiring words for us. Let's cut now to the stage. Yes, he's ready. Let's cut now to the stage and hear what Herzog has to say.
Hello, my name is Werner Herzog. It is an honor and a privilege to speak to you all today at this wonderful event. And I can't think of anything better to unite us all in these challenging times. For after all, aren't we all, deep down inside, sniveling little worms, crawling through the filth of existence, and feeling the vibrations for our impending death and doom. And this event celebrates both those things. Being a worm and absolute destruction. We are always surrounded by destruction within our lives. Both internally and externally.
Murder! Murder most foul.
Sorry, I thought I felt something coming. Apologies, I was distracted there for a moment. As I was saying, it is a true honor to be here to help open this first inaugural Worms World Cup here in Wormany, my homeland, though no one can ever truly know what a home is. Our fleshy cages, are they our home? The ones we love, are they our home? Or is our home truly the pile of dirt that we slither through? These are some big themes, which I'm sure will be addressed
Fantastic.
during this tournament.
It's brilliant. It's really, really good.
This is my fate, and I am accepting of that. This is what we all become. Food for the birds, who then become food for the worms, as we all do. Oh, yes.
Fuck. Okay. Is he okay? Is he okay? Is he okay? I can't believe it, everyone. Werner Herzog. He's dead. Werner Herzog. May you writhe in peace. May you writhe in peace. It's a shame that a sound alert happened at the time. That really, you know, destroyed his perhaps the dignity he could have had within his death. May have been slightly squandered by Keith from Pottery Throwdown, saying, "That's brilliant. It's really, really good." Unfortunately, Usurp, that is currently not set up. See, I deliberately didn't turn on those sound alerts, forgetting about the sub ones and the where are you. You'll get your Keith, don't you worry, Usurp. Oh, you'll get your Keith.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it.
Everyone. We need to remember.
Me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life.
There's going to be some mistakes.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
That's right.
That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
That's right. Oh, you've done the last post. You're doing all the long ones, Tom. This is for Verma. For Warmer. For Wormer. This is where you think it's over, and then it's not over.
Where are you? Where are you? Let's be having you! Come on!
Carelessly whispered into the grave. Yes, so this is a charity fundraiser, which you're all besmirching with your sound for breast cancer now. This is where the charity fundraising begins. I was going to go more into that.
There you are.
PK Mega Awesome. Welcome in, PK Mega Awesome. A pleasure to have you. How do I begin to explain to you, PK Mega Awesome, what you've just raided into? It is Mega Awesome, I agree. How do we begin? Yeah, Tom, I've taken I'm gonna say a pretty brave stance in being anti-cancer. Start in the middle and work outwards. We've just witnessed the death of Werner Herzog. This is the opening ceremony to a Worms World Cup tournament, which is a charity fundraiser for Breast Cancer Now. All proceeds will go to Breast Cancer Now. All bits and subs and all that business. There is a Tiltify, which I haven't got round to sorting out the command for yet. The groups have... We'll get into that. We'll get into that. But hang on, one second. Hang on. I'm getting news that... No, it can't be. It can't be. King Worm's arrived. King Worm has arrived, everyone. King Worm is on the scene. King Worm has arrived. It truly is a special occasion. Everyone be standing. Everyone be standing for King Worm, please. The crowd are going wild for King Worm. King Worm, everyone. Even those who are anti-monarchists must at least look at that and go, by God, that is regal. That is regal. I feel a bit bad. My first meeting of King Worm was when I accidentally destroyed his home when sweeping up some leaves. I didn't know that I had royalty living in my garden. And, well, there we go. Right. I believe a musical guest has been booked for the competition opening ceremony. We've got a person down on the field. Me. What can you tell me? Yes, thank you, me. Preparations are now getting on the stage, ready to greet electronic genius Craftworm. And I'm hearing that Craftworm actually has some requests. Craftworm is in need of 3 separate numbers. Craftworm needs a number between 194 and 234. A number between 55 and 94. And a number between 0 and 39. Thank you. Get me a coffee? Decaf. Cold. Dry. So yeah, the stagehands are just putting together the incredible show we're about to see. I'm sure Craftworm, I was going to say has a lot up his sleeves, but worms don't have sleeves. They basically are a sleeve. He's probably got some great ideas up himself. So I'm just trying to see if he's ready. Is he ready to go? Alright, everyone. It's time to hear from Craftworm. Hello everyone. It's me, Craftworm. Hello, it's a pleasure to be playing for you tonight. I was having some slight technical difficulties before we were able to begin. I have not had a proper chance to sound check. So hopefully we can get some sound going. It's very loud, isn't it?
Stinky's arrived.
Thank you very much for the follow, PK Mega. It's a pleasure to have you. That was very loud, wasn't it? Oh, it's still very, very loud. Hello, it's me, it's Craftworm, everyone. Now, you've all put in a bunch of numbers and it's gotten a little bit confusing. Now, I've also got to see if I can get this working too. Hang on. As I said, I've had some slight difficulties. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, I can't see what I'm doing because of my sunglasses. Oh, here we go. Yes. Oh, did that actually do anything? I don't think it did anything. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Okay. So, I need some numbers from you. Oh, yeah. I've also had some problems with my microphone. It's not working. So, I guess we don't have any fun vocal effects, but oh well. I need a number between 194 and 234. Please to help us decide. A drum beat. Here we go. It's 99. That's... Why do I ask you things? 233, that's more like it. Thank you. It's Robo. Here we go. Alright. Now between 55 and 94, please. Between 55 and 94. It's 76 was the first one I saw. It's Craftworm time, baby. Between 0 and 39, please. Number 25. Worms, how we sliver through your face, how we sliver into your minds. Worms, how we sliver through your body, into your hearts, into your hearts. Worms, worms. toes. Worms. This is how it goes. Worms. They sometimes be clones. Worms. We are friends, not foes. Apart from in the Worms World Cup. Apart from within the World Cup. Apart from within the Worms World Cup. Apart from within the Worms World Cup. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll do one more song for you all. Thank you. I forgot to ask someone to give me a tempo. So if someone could give me a tempo, please. I forgot to ask for that. 222. You might regret it. You may regret it. Does this even go up to 222? It does. 222. It won't go up to 420. Okay. Number between 194 and 234, please. Allow me to transport you musically. 195. Thank you very much for the actual proper suggestion. Here we fucking go. Now, a number between 55 and 94, please. For Kraftwerm. Kraftwerm says it's got to be 55. Let me just extend. Okay, I get the point. You can go now. All right, a number between 0 and 39, please. For Kraftwerm. Between 0 and 39. What? 9, thank you. It's time for the party lead. Kraftwerm is the party lead. Here we go. Worms are the party lead. Worms are sometimes bird feed. Worms, we take the lead. Worms, I can't think what it's like to be freed. This one goes out to Verma. For you, Verma. You know what this song needs? Worms World Cup. That's right. Worms, 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 Worms. Thank you, everyone. You have been a truly excellent crowd. And it has been an honor to play here at the Worms World Cup. I hope you have a wonderful tournament. And I can't wait to see the carnage that unfolds and the money that is raised for charity. Wow. Woo! Now that was a performance for the ages. People are going to be remembering that for years and years to come. I can't quite believe what we've just witnessed. Kraftwerk live. We've heard the beautiful final words of Werner Herzog. We've seen a beautiful procession. And of course, we received a visit from King Worm themselves. A beautiful, beautiful day. And hopefully it will go down in history. Now, the rumor I hear from the opening ceremony committee is that there was supposed to be something else, but the delivery didn't arrive in time, which was supposed to be the grand finale. So apparently we will get to see that in the closing ceremony.